I'm Matt,
I'm Eric.
and we make up Careless Downfall.
So what you're hearing here is the new Brightwell EP that just came out fully yesterday.
Yep, and it's called Alpha, and I like Alpha because I love Alpha, like the alpha of a wolf pack, which is sick.
Yeah. So a lot of you probably sitting here watching this video like, well, who the hell is Brightwell? Like, everyone is trying to find new music, and you may or may not have heard of him, but I heard of him I follow Gabe Barham, who's the drummer of Sleeping with Sirens. I follow him on Instagram, and he promoted this, and his little brother, Nick Barham, is the lead vocalist, the screamer right here. So I went in and I found Young Canvas, which they released as a pre-release to their EP. Kind of like as a single, and like I loved it, and so I pre-ordered that album as soon as I heard Young Canvas, and I pre-ordered it about a month ago, and it came out fully last night. And Matt and I have had a chance to listen to all the songs a couple times now.
Like 7 times for me.
Yeah, and at least a few times for me. So we wanted to make this video to kind of tell you guys what's up with them.
First off, I love the lead vocalist's voice. I think it's high. It's kind of almost Kellen Quinn-esque in a way, but it's much more. It's kind of harsh in a way too, but it's not whiny. I don't know. I like it. I think it's different. I think it sounds really cool with his band.
Another thing that I think is awesome is the like the screaming vocals right here that you hear in the background. A lot of it sounds so fresh and so clean. It's awesome because in a couple parts, Nick runs out of breath and he has to stop and keep going, which tells me that the producer did a really good job when they live recorded that, because we've been in the studio before and we know a lot of times that, you know, and with time and with money, you have to cheat a little bit. Like, you know, there's bands that do their first album and they don't track drums at all, meaning they don't set up a drum kit or anything. All the drums are off of samples, and they write the drum part out there, and they write it, which is fine. But you know, a lot of people don't have the money or time for live recording. And I don't know if they live recorded all this, the drum tracks. That is kind of hard to tell. But at least with the screaming vocals, they sound really awesome.
I also love the rhythmic patterns he uses for his screams. They sound different and fresh and awesome. And I've also heard a reference that it sounds like Mice and Men, like old Mice and Men when Austin Carlisle first came on. And I've just heard someone reference that. That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think now that you're mentioning that, I just thought of Attack Attack back when Austin Carlisle was on Attack Attack. I know we got to go way back to think of when Austin Carlisle was on.
Far back.
When he was on Attack Attack. But that's kind of like how the vocals are, and they sound super clean. But they also add in some you know, samples of like some EDM kind of samples, which a lot of bands are doing now.
But there's only the drums though, which is pretty cool. It's drums and ambient textures, which is really cool. I write electronic music, and like it's very simple electronic, but it does the job with the lead singer's vocals. And it sounds so cool.
Absolutely. So I tried to go on YouTube to find some live videos, because me personally, I like to look at live videos because any band can sound good in the studio. Producers these days are phenomenal at making bands sound better than they actually are. In fact, we've gone into the studio and we've come out of the studio with our band thinking like, wow, all right, you know, our producer Ryan Weiser in Buffalo, New York, he made us sound not better than we actually are, but we were so shocked with the way we sounded coming out, and we were so pleased. So I wanted to find a live video to see how they sounded live, and get like kind of like a crowd reaction. And unfortunately, they didn't have any live videos. I think they had like a minute video of Young Canvas, but it didn't really tell me all that much, and the camera angle was kind of bad. So I'm thinking now that they've just fully released this, hopefully it's getting a good rap among their producers and label. So hopefully you'll see them on tour soon. I'm hoping so.
Yeah, they sound good. I mean, they're nothing different if you like post-hardcore in general. They do have a different take on it per se, a slightly different take, but it's very heavy post-hardcore, and it's cliche to an extent. But what isn't?
And like a lot of the breakdowns are more sophisticated. You don't just hear chugging, you know, like you hear in the background now. There's a lot of offbeat chugging, which is awesome to hear.
And lead parts.
And there's only 4 members in the band. I know that there's the drummer, bassist. The bassist does the clean vocals, and then of course you have an electric guitar, and then you have Nick, who screams and does nothing else. So it's kind of talented, the sound they give with only 4 guys. Yeah,
I feel this was like 7.
It's from the live video that I did watch. There were only 4, but maybe they added new members. I don't know. But if they did, they need to post a live video so I can see how many members they have.
And that got my respect a lot more. I thought it was like 7 members.
Yeah, I'm sure. But Like I said, a lot of people have been talking about them through Instagram. You know, I follow Justin, Sleeping with Sirens, and Kellen, Sleeping with Sirens. And
Michael Bond features on one of their songs.
yeah, so if you're an Issues fan, Michael Bond features on there, who's kind of like the sidekick to Tyler Carter on Issues. So a lot of bands will try and come out with someone awesome to feature on their record, and I think they did that with Michael Bond because the two screaming vocals like fit together perfectly to the point where you can tell the two apart because Michael Bond and Nick Barham sound different, but they just complement each other.
They fit well. I wish Michael Bond was a little standoutish. I mean, he's kind of like he came in a verse and kind of disappeared. When I hear someone's featuring in a song, I want it like when someone features Tyler Carter. Usually, there's a lot of Tyler Carter. I kind of like stuff like that.
Yeah. So, like we said, the band is Brightwell. Look for their EPs called Alpha. All of them are out now on iTunes. We will post the iTunes link below. We will post any YouTube videos that we find below, and we'll keep updating it along with any other reviews that we do and thoughts. Like I said, we've played a lot of local shows in upstate New York, Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, soon to be Cleveland. So we like to think we know what we're talking about, at least a little bit.
Sometimes.
When it comes to going into the studio and recording and playing live performances. So we want to give you our take on it because there's a lot that goes into liking music.
And if there's anything you want us to talk about, whether it be about live shows or about music or reviews you want us to talk about, sometimes we get bored in college, even though we don't have time to write music, sometimes we do get bored. But so anything of that nature, just let us know. And if you want to, check out our music. We're nothing like Brightwell. We're
pretty pop punk.
We're pop punk with electronic dance music, which is really fun, and we love doing it. So if you want to check out some new music, check us out too.
Absolutely. And some plans for the future are, of course, we're writing, and we plan on going back into the studio. We have a lot of acoustic stuff that we haven't professionally recorded. I've done some of the recording for that, but it's not, I'm kind of picky with it, so hopefully we'll have some of that out soon. We also plan to do more reviews. Sleeping with Sirens is coming out with a new album called Madness on March 17th. I've already pre-ordered it. They've already released some stuff on it as well. We're going to review State Champs, which is one of my new favorite bands. I have a close relationship kind of with them, sort of in a weird way, which you'll find out about when we actually make the video. Yeah, and you know, I know a lot of you guys are Warped Tour fans out there. We go to Warped Tour as well, so you know, hopefully we can start seeing Brightwell on Warped Tour for sure. That'd be cool. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us today. Again, let us know what other stuff you want to hear. Anything. We'll talk about anything, really. If you want us to talk about politics, we'll talk about politics. I mean, we don't know anything.
Than me. I'll talk about not having facial hair or something weird.
Yeah, awesome. Villain Apparel, Western New York. See you guys later.
Young and Reckless.
I can't get enough from